Herschel. Thank you. I don't know about Herschel. I'd watch him in college. I'd watch him carry that ball. But, you know, I think he'd do just as well as a senator or a governor. We're going to have to start talking to him about that. He's a fantastic person, great man. I'm honored to be back in the heart of Georgia with the truly incredible organization, Black Voices for Trump, and we appreciate it. In 39 days, we're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And we will do it with a record number of votes from the Black community. We have no doubt. That's all happening. That's all happening. We're getting a lot of, see the people back there, they're saying, what's going on over here? They're not happy about it, but that's okay. Our movement is welcoming millions of Black Americans back to the Republican Party, the party of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I looked at the dismal and shameful record of the Democrat Party and asked Black Americans, what the hell do you have to lose, right? And they all said, you shouldn't use the word hell, but I said, it's just more descriptive. Doesn't work as well without it. Today, I want to share what you have to gain from voting Republican on November 3rd. Will be the biggest election of our lives. For decades, Democrat politicians like Joe Biden have taken Black voters for granted. They made you big promises before every election, and then the moment they got to Washington, they abandoned you and they sold you out. The Democrat Party used you and they lied to you every single time. You know it better than anybody else knows it. The Democrats will always take back the vote. What they want to do is they'll take that vote back. They want to take the Black voter for granted, and they have taken the Black voter for granted. And it's not fair, it's not right, and it's not going to happen because we're going to have such a victory like you've never had before.
Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely.
In 2016, thank you. Thank you. In 2016, I made you a solemn pledge that whether you voted for me or not, I would be your greatest champion. Since that time, I've delivered even more than I promised. It's one of those things. Few politicians do that, but I believe we have. Before the China virus, we built the greatest economy for African Americans in the history of our country, and we are doing it again.
Fun fact, the China virus
in the first 3 years, we
achieved
achieved the lowest Black unemployment rate in history. The Black youth unemployment rate reached an all-time low.
Part of the same thing.
We achieved the largest job gains for African Americans on record.
Cool, how are they doing now?
Black
13%.
Americans saw the largest increase in home ownership. The poverty rate for African Americans reached the lowest level ever recorded. And last year, 811,000 African Americans were lifted out of poverty, the most in over 51 years.
It's because we didn't record African American poverty until just recently.
In my first 3 years, we lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction of any president in the history of our country.
Cool, how are we doing now? What's going on now? What's
I
the
did
president
more
like?
for the Black community in 47 months. I saw they used that line, so I don't want to ruin it by saying it a second time. It was in the video, but I will say it again. Than Joe Biden did in 47 years.
You haven't been here for 47 months.
And I'm here today to announce a brand new plan to deliver more opportunity, more security, more fairness, and more prosperity.
He's the
Black
54th president.
We call it the Platinum Plan. Platinum Plan. And that's a contract with Black Americans, and it's going to be something that people talk about for a long time to come.
Is it as good as your
If you
healthcare
vote
plan?
Republican over the next 4 years, we will create 3 million new jobs for the black community. Open 500,000 new black-owned businesses. Increase access to capital in black communities by $500 billion.
We've permanently lost more than
And this
half the
includes
jobs
investing
created
in
during
community
Trump's first 3
development,
years.
financial institutions,
Permanently
and
lost,
minority
and yet suddenly he's going to be able to create 3 million new
institutions.
jobs just for African
Build up
Americans.
peaceful and safer urban neighborhoods with the highest standards of, and you know this, of policing. We want the highest standards. We have to have highest standards of policing. Bring even greater fairness to the justice system. We did criminal justice reform. We remember that. Even greater, we will create a national clemency project to right wrongful
He's in Atlanta.
prosecutions and to pardon individuals who have reformed their life. You saw Alice, right? We love Alice. She had another 24 years to go. Can you believe
Spent
it?
$10 million on Super
She
Bowl
served
ads.
22 years. She
Now
had
doesn't have any money
another
left.
24 years to go. It was ridiculous.
Lindsey Graham was
And she's
begging
a
for
great
money.
woman.
Lindsey
Create
Graham
a
has essentially been
ladder of
turned Hannity into a
opportunity for
telethon.
African American children by delivering school choice to every parent in America. So important.
It's available to about 2% of parents in America.
Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources.
I just want to pause for a second here. No one remembers this, but he was promising school choice the first time he ran in 2015. Sorry, the second time he ran in 2015. He put it into every speech, and no one really cared about it. But they've decided, since they don't have any good ideas for the second part of the for a second term, that they're just going to go with school choice because they didn't get anything accomplished on school choice. Promises made,
Black community.
promises continued.
Bring more manufacturing back to the USA, which we're doing anyway.
Manufacturing was in a contraction before the China virus.
Not so much in the last 3 years when you get right down to it. Thank you. And Democrat policies that import low-wage
Democratic.
foreign workers from overseas to replace black workers in our inner cities. Joe Biden cares more about
What?
the citizens of foreign countries than he does about black Americans
Is
living
he
in our
talking
own
about
country.
refugees?
I will always put Americans first, and that includes, very, very importantly, black Americans.
Well, yeah, because they're part of America.
And there's much more in our plan, which we're releasing today, so we'll get everyone a copy, and it's actually
good.
been very well received.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. The Platinum Plan
I
is
promise
a
to
bold
make a
vision that we
plan.
can and really
The plan
will
is
achieve
to make a
over the
great
next 4 years.
plan.
And we'll be
It's
able
gonna
to
be
do it,
tremendous.
if not sooner. Unlike my opponent, I'm not a career politician, thank goodness. I get results, and I keep my promise. And you've seen that. You've seen that. Together, we will not
What
only
about the
build
school
up
choice? You
America's
promised that.
black communities, we'll help with your vote, with the Platinum Plan. We'll lift up.
By the way, this didn't start with Trump, but there's been several speakers before them. This is just a religious revival. That's what this is. It was just this, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. God put Trump here to be our president. This is God's destiny. This guy got up, started talking about Calvinism and manifest destiny and saying that God planned from the beginning of time for Trump to be president.
To really be there for a long time, but we want this.
Here's the thing. What if God has already decided that Joe Biden should be president this time? We don't know. God works in mysterious ways.
Where are they? Are they here? Are they here? A lot of them are here, right?
Platinum
Whoa.
plan. I'm
That's a
sure there's been
good-looking
platinum
group of people.
plans in the past with Trump golf clubs,
And
etc.
you're doing well, just about in every instance. Well, we're going to help you to do even better. We'll be helping you. You watch. And we're thrilled to be joined today by 8 of them. Raise your hand. Which are the 8? Oh, that's so great. Yeah, they have what it takes. That's great. That's fantastic. Great job. One of them I've endorsed very strongly. I saw
This
an
is
ad
the
that I
Trump
liked.
Platinum
I said,
card?
That was great. Raise your hand, please. What a great. They've been now endorsed, I will tell you. And congratulations, by the way. That's going to be it's going to be a fantastic night, November 3rd. Now, I don't know.
Trump
with this
hotels
ballot
have a
situation,
platinum level membership.
it's, you're not going to see it. November 3rd, the Democrats are playing games. You see that? You see they found ballots in a wastepaper basket. They found ballots dumped in a stream. Take a look at Iowa, the primaries. You remember the primary? They went
The
to Iowa.
campaign
We
is
love
selling
Iowa, but they
gold
tried
and
this
platinum playing
ballot
cards?
concept, and they still don't know who won. That was a long time ago. That was in their primary, the first primary. And it's a very terrible thing that's happening, very, very terrible thing. But you're going to be raising the hand, if not November 3rd, hopefully shortly thereafter. Now, I know you're going to be raising your hand. With me, we may end up in a dispute for a long time because that's the way they want it. But we're going to end up winning, that's for sure, okay? We're going to end up winning. When I give my State of the Union address next year, I look forward to welcoming a historic number of black Republican members of Congress, and we're going to take back the House. We're going to take back the House.
Trump hotels offer a $100 discount for Platinum Club members
We've already
with
won
American
some
Express.
seats back. They don't like to talk about that. The fake
I should
news.
say
You'll
with
find out
American
about
Express
the fake
Platinum
news.
cards.
Have you figured out the fake news yet? You're young and handsome and beautiful. Have you figured out the fake news yet? You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll learn to live with it. You'll learn to do what you have to do. But we are going to take back the House. I think we're only 17.
What else have
short.
you got to
We
lose?
picked up a
Seriously, because
couple.
we've taken
We just
everything
won
so
a big
far.
one in Los Angeles.
Do you
We
have
haven't won
anything
in
else
22
to lose?
years.
Because we're interested.
California.
Yeah, no, I know like
Won a big one
60,000
in
of you've already lost your
Wisconsin.
life. We
That
get
was
that.
a great one.
Do
We
you
won
have
some
anything
really
else of
good ones.
value
So,
we can use? This is what we're asking.
We're inching up, and you watch what's going to happen. It's going to be a very big night for the House. It's going to be a really retired Pelosi. That's not a bad idea. That's going to be great. Congratulations, all. That's already a great achievement. It really is. It's already. But together we'll fulfill our contract with Black America, and we'll pass the Platinum Plan into law, and we'll do it quickly and easily. We're also joined by a great friend of mine, Dr. Ben Carson. Where's Ben? Where's Ben? Ben, I love Ben.
He's had so much luck passing his legislation.
Ben, special man. He's doing a great job, too. He's been my friend from the beginning. Can I tell the one story, Ben? He came up to me he was campaigning. He was the toughest one. I mean, to tell you what, we had some really tough ones. You know, a lot of them like to try and say they were tough, but they weren't, like Kasich. Like Kasich.
I couldn't really tell crowd size
He only had
from
one
the
thing.
earlier
He wouldn't leave
video.
the race. He'd get -1. He's going on to the next one. This guy did great. He was incredible. And he came up to me during the race, and he was doing well. He said, "You know that you're going to win, don't you?" I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You know you're going to win." He was doing great. And he was really like in second and third and fourth and back to second. I mean, he was right up there. He was great. I said, we got to get this guy out of here. But he came up to me, he did, and he said, you're going to win. And I'll let him tell you the rest of the story if he'd like to do it sometime. But he gave a very specific reason, and I will never forget what he said. But he said, you know you're going to win, don't you? And I just thought it was really nice, and you know what I'm talking about, Ben. So Ben Carson, what a job he's done, too, respected by everybody. Thank you, Ben. And a man who ran in the primary, who I got a call from another great man, David Perdue. He said, could you do us a favor? There's a guy named Brian Kemp, and he's running in a tough primary. He's got a tough opponent. And do you think you could maybe endorse him? I love David Perdue. I said, who is he? I don't know him, okay? And he said, well, he's been for you. I said, well, I've heard that before. I better be careful. And we did a little, where's Brian? Where's Brian? Right over here, Brian. So we did a little research. And he was for me all the way. And I said, that's good. You know, the worst thing is when you're endorsing people that say bad things, right? He only said good. And I got to know him, and I got to know his wife, Marty, and I said, absolutely, and we endorsed him, and he won that primary so easily. He won so easily. And they're still trying to figure out what happened in the race. I've been watching. You know what? It wasn't that close. He won by, like, a lot, actually. You know, he didn't win by 15 votes. He won by a lot. How many votes was that? That was a lot. Well, we won't call it a landslide, but it wasn't very close, you know? How many votes was that, Brian? It was a lot. 51 to me, you know what that is? It's Yankee Stadium for a World Series. Oh, people would say, "Oh, that was tight." I don't think, like I heard I won Michigan by 12,000. I said that's an almost full Madison Square Garden. Not
No,
quite
it's not.
full, but that's Yankee Stadium for the World Series.
It's
I think
two-thirds
that's a
full.
lot.
It's like a
We
Trump
look at
rally
it
in Tulsa.
differently. But I do want to introduce also David Perdue, who is he is really an incredible guy, and he loves everybody in this room. Where's David? David, please stand up. Is that right? Did you make that call? Well, you made that call. He made that call, and that was a good call because your governor's doing a great job, and David's doing a great job, and I hope you can support David and Brian and all of them. They're incredible people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, David, for everything. Thanks also to Oklahoma's first black Speaker of the House, T.W. Shannon. Where's T.W.? Oh, I like that. I want to do that. I want to do that. Thank you, T.W. Great reputation. Thank you very much. And a friend of mine who, my children, they'll always be children. They may be a little older than children, but they're always my children. They love her, Lynn Patton. Lynn, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. And if you're a UFC fan, anybody like UFC? It's, I'll tell you what, that's right, Usman. He goes, Usman. He's, I know who he is. He's tough, that's who he is. Kamaru Usman, where is our champ? Come on, champ, get up. Man, oh man, oh man. What a fighter you are. I don't want to mess with him. I may weigh a couple of pounds more. Do you think I could take you to fight, champ? I don't think so. He goes, no. I think you're right, champ. But I watched a fight you had a couple of months ago, unbelievable, and talent, but right up here too, It's a combination. The muscles are important, but you gotta have the other. You gotta have the, he actually looks very good in the suit, but he's one of the few people who look better without a suit. There aren't too many of us. Hey, there aren't too many of us that can say that, right? Right, men? The men in this audience, huh? But I just want to thank you, champ, and good luck. I'll be watching. You have a big fight coming up, and I'll be watching, and it's a great group of people, great group of champions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Another great fighter, Ali Abdelaziz, who is tough. Where is he? There he is. Oh,
She's just
tough.
been like 20 minutes
You're
of pointing
so
out people
tough,
in the
the
audience.
two of you guys. I'd like to see you both fight, but there's a little weight difference, I guess, right? You probably think you could take him, right? But what is the difference in weight? What is it? 20? 10? I know. What is it though? And how were you a fighter at one time? And how good you pretty good? Not good as him. Nobody else is either. So that's easy. Yeah, you were a good fighter. Also, Atlanta's top hip hop producer, Polo. Do you know where is he? Where is he? The Don. Don King used to call me the Don, right? He still does, actually. But you didn't get it from Don King, I know that, right? Nice to see you. Great to have you. Great to have you. Thank you very much. Do we have another UFC fighter here? Because I had heard yes, because I know we had somebody else go. I just don't want to skip it in case we do. I have a lot of respect for them. Anybody gets in a ring and does that and comes out winning, to me, I have a lot of respect. And when you become the champ, I want to tell you, that's a hell of a thing. That's what you live for, the belt, right? The money or the belt? You know what? If you get the belt, the money comes, right? So, great going, champ. Fantastic. Over the last 50 years, black Americans have mostly voted Democrat, but every day more black Americans are deciding that the old way is not working. 5 decades of evidence prove that Democrat politicians do not care about the black community. They only care about power for themselves, whatever that means. My opponent is offering black Americans nothing but the same old, tired, empty slogans. By the way, he's staying in again today. The guy. Hey, champ, if I lose to a guy that's like you losing to a fighter that, hasn't worked out in the last 6 months. This guy never goes out. It's terrible, huh? Oh, you better make sure I win. I'm going to be very embarrassed. I lost to a guy that didn't campaign. You know why he's not campaigning? I guess it's an energy factor. So what the hell is going? If I lose to a man that doesn't campaign, no, he's announced every day. He announced we're going to stay in today. I don't know. Hey, I can't tell you, but the Democrats are angry at him. They say you can't do that. You know, I just left Florida, and from here I'm going to Washington, then I'm going to Virginia, then I'm going to someplace else and someplace else. By the way, I see Kelly and I see Collins back there. Will you please stand up? Okay, please. Please. You know, those are two champions. So, they had their names in there, but they took them out. You know why? Because they probably...
Yeah, well, he's doing Romper Room, looking through his magic mirror glass. I'll just update you. I just read through the executive order from yesterday. You know, the one that he said he was going to sign with the America First Health Plan, and it was going to guarantee pre-existing conditions, because that's the most important. Republicans are the party of pre-existing conditions. The only thing about pre-existing conditions in this very, very long document is this is the entire I'll drag it over. I don't know what he's doing over on this side. Hold on. So this is the section on policy. Here I'll show you. Okay, so this is the whole document. Watch this. This is a whole document, right? Oh, is there actually anything in here? Here's policy. This is what they're calling policy. This is the policy section right here. I'll drag it up for you. It has been and will continue to be the policy of the United States to give Americans seeking health care more choices, lower costs, and better care, and to ensure that Americans with pre-existing condition can obtain the insurance of their choice at affordable rates. That's it. That's the policy. The policy, there's no actual policy in here. It's just, this is what we would like policy to be. Out of that whole long document, all it is complaining about the ACA and bragging about the very minor things that Trump has done in terms of healthcare. But there's no healthcare plan in there. And that's the policy. That number 2, that's it. And it's not policy. It's just, it has been and it will continue to be this. Americans should have affordable healthcare. Yeah, we know. Is he paused?
Joe Biden shipped millions of your best jobs overseas, hollowed out the black middle class, and with open borders, trapped children in failing government schools, sent young men to fight in endless wars. They just never end. They're coming back home. You see that. They're coming back home. Many are already back. While our inner cities crumbled at home and made cities less safe and less secure, Joe Biden should not be demanding your support. He should be begging for your forgiveness. He really should be.
So under a section called Lowering Health Costs for Americans, health care costs for Americans, he directs the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Labor, Secretary of Health and Human, again, that's Ben Carson, by the way, and Steve Mnuchin and Scalia, Scalia's son, not the Scalia. He directs them to try and find ways to make health care more affordable. That's no actual policy. He just instructs them to take a look. Because, it's only been 45 months.
That was his deal. I rolled back the unfair provisions of the 1994 Biden crime bill, and I signed it into groundbreaking criminal justice reform, which people are so happy about. Even my enemies are saying thank you for that. Today, we're glad to be joined by the first person to be released under the First Step Act, who I was honored to have as my guest at the State of the Union, a really wonderful man, Matthew Charles.
Still going on with the invite list. So there are 3 things he wants Health and Human Services to do. One of which is to survey the hospitals and find out whether, upon discharge, the hospital provides patients with a receipt that includes a list of itemized services received during a hospital stay. He thinks the hospitals are hotels.
Nicest looking guy in the house. Thank you, Matthew. You're doing well, Matthew, right? That's great, Matthew. You deserve what you got.
God, you guys should read or listen to Mary Trump's book, because as producer Joanna was pointing out the other day, that's his dad. His dad, apparently his mom had brittle bones or something like that and was always getting in accidents and spending weeks in a hospital bed in their house. And the dad would come in and just say, everything good? Thanks, Toots. Literally called her Toots.
In Michigan, and he sent them to Mexico. I replaced NAFTA, one of the worst trade deals, one of the worst, stupidest deals I've ever seen in my life, with the new U.S. Mexico-Canada agreement, creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs.
Nope.
That was one they said could not be done, David, right? They
It's
said
not going to
couldn't
create
be
hundreds
done.
of thousands of
David
new
Perdue,
jobs.
They said that one couldn't be done, right, David? And we got it done in pretty quick time, too, to revitalize.
So the baseline they use to create 129,000 new jobs from USMCA is without NAFTA. So NAFTA was here already, and we had this many jobs. And then, this is the same, but there's 5% different. Oh, well, how many more jobs will it create? 200, maybe. It's the same thing. Oh, well, what happens if we just took this one away? Oh, well, then you'd get all those jobs back. 129 new thousand. It's all nonsense.
100,000 jobs and lift 1 million Americans out of poverty. When the China virus struck, we raced to ensure that Black Americans had the medical care and the financial support that they needed through the Paycheck Protection Program.
Shut up. You guys got to see this. This is great. So the long healthcare plan, executive order, this is what's at the very end of it. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. Everything you just read means nothing. Nothing. Anyway, back to Trump.
A couple of the Democrats don't want to have the vaccine because they say, well, we don't want it because we think Trump is pushing it too fast. Well, that's the reason we're going to have it. This would have taken years to get. We're years ahead of schedule.
Oh, we don't want it.
And this would have been 2-3 years by Democrats. And but now they're very concerned.
I saw the
because they're afraid it's happening
congressperson.
too fast.
Her name is
and that means
Tammy
we're gonna get
Ducklips.
credit. I don't want credit. We want to save lives.
Well, we don't want
That's what
it.
it's.
Send me your bill.
We will
That's a
crush
joke. I'm
the
being
virus. Our
sarcastic.
opponents will crush the black middle class. That's what they've been doing. And they've been doing it for a long time, for too long. They will deliver a crippling shutdown and a very steep depression. If he gets elected, this guy, okay,
Yeah.
you will have the greatest depression that this country has ever seen.
Greater than
And
the
that
Great
includes
Depression?
a pretty big one in 1929.
It'll be the Great
Hello, how
Depression
are you?
again.
You great. I love
Again.
her dress.
Again.
That's great. Thank you for being here. I didn't know you were going to be here. Thank you very much.
Oh, he's done with the wish
Nearly
list, but
1.3
he
million
saw someone
African
else.
Americans have gotten jobs in the last.
There's about 100 African American Trump fans that go to all of his events, and they wear like their American flag apparel. It's like Waldo, the guy who wears the wall suit and goes to the Trump campaign events, and he points him out sometimes. The other day, he pointed him out because you recognize the people wearing the clothes. These are all the same people over and over again.
In the history of our country economically, and I think our third quarter, which happens to be
Right
it's going to
before
be
the
announced
election.
2 days before, the numbers come out 2 days before the election,
Vote early.
right at the beginning of November. And I'll say it now. These people, all those people up there, they'll hold me to it. They won't give me credit if I was right, but if I was wrong, it'll be headlines. We have breaking news. Trump said wrong.
Stephanie, you just said like this live stream, please. So I looked over at the likes, and it was at 10, and now it's at 9. Someone took their like away. Sorry?
Education, Republicans believe that school choice is the civil rights issue of our time.
Oh,
And
sorry,
Joe
Molly.
Biden isn't allowed to go there because of the radical left. He's controlled by the radical left totally.
Yeah, he is. Right. Okay, great. So in that executive order, Trump brags about creating there are many Americans without insurance, and it's an intractable problem. It says that right in there. There's nothing we can do. Nothing. Anyway, here's our plan. Our plan is it's intractable. We can't. But we are giving people without insurance access to COVID-19 care. Access to. No, we're not going to pay for. No. I mean, you're going to have to pay yourself, Molly.
And universities. I've increased
Molly, do you have insurance?
HBCU funding, and I made it permanent. You know, just a quick story. So what was happening is I'd be there the first year. I saw these probably 42 people came up, and they were the heads of individual colleges, historically black colleges, universities, and they were the heads. And I'd see them. I said, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" They were nice people. And we took a picture in the White House. We do that. You know, a lot of presidents don't believe anyone should ever enter the Oval Office, but them with me, I say, "Come on in." But we took a picture. Then the next year they were there again, and I said, "Right, we know the story, my friend. We know the story." They were there, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing back here?" They said, "We're here because we need money again." I said, "What do you mean again?" And I forgot about it. I said, "All right, well, what is?" And they got it. And then the third year, David, they came in again, right? And I said, "What is this? What are you guys here for? I mean, you're great people, but why?" "Well, we don't have any funding. They don't have permanent funding, so they could be shut out if they had the wrong president." You know, honestly, you could have the wrong president, and you wouldn't get 10 cents. They wouldn't give you anything.
There'd be a president since 2010 when Barack Obama signed the original HBCU bill that expired after 10 years, and then Congress decided this last year, let's make this permanent. It had nothing to do with Trump. It's Congress that decided we're going to take this, and $85 million a year is always going to go. Because it's worked for the last 10 years, seems to be being beneficial to the American people. Let's do it. Trump takes full credit that it was all him.
And I have to say, you know, it had to go through the House. And where's Doug? Doug worked on it.
It did,
Doug?
yeah.
You remember that? That was
Like
a hard
president
thing. It
is
wasn't
going to
easy.
come in and
There
say,
were
like,
people
yeah,
that
you're done.
didn't want to do it.
We don't
And
want the black colleges.
We got it passed. We got more money than they asked for. I said, "You're going to need more."
That's
I'm
not
in the
true.
real estate business. I said, "You always need more. Whatever you think you need more." But we got more money than they asked for, and we got it for a period of 10 years, right? So I said, the only bad, we signed
No.
it together, about 42
it's
people.
permanent.
We signed it together. I said, the
not a
only
10-year
bad
bill.
thing is that I like you people. I
It
won't
was
see
a
you
10-year
anymore.
bill. Now it's
I won't see you for another 10 years. Let's see, will we be president in 10 years? Only if we,
there is
only
no.
if we had a
It's not a
couple
10-year
of
bill.
terms. And oh, this, now we have a story. There's your breaking news. I told you he's a dictator. We've been saying he will not give up power. Under no circumstances will he give up power. He intends to serve at least 2 more terms. Oh, that's the big story. You know, you can't joke, because if you joke, they take it away. You know, a lot of times with a little sarcasm in your joke, but you're being serious, and then you start laughing afterwards. But they always cut it before the laugh. They cut it so that they think he's serious. He wants
Trump rarely
He wants
laughs.
12 more years. They start shouting
Rarely
out,
laughs.
12 more years.
And has said many times that he doesn't joke. And typically he says that after he says something outrageous, and his staff says, "Oh, no, the president, he was being sarcastic, obviously." And then he'll come back, and at Yellowcopter moments, he'll say, like, "I don't joke. I don't joke.
Said that
I don't kid."
if you don't vote for him, then you ain't black. You know that. And this was very outrageous. This was offensive. In fact, he was very derisive of the black Americans when he very negatively compared them
He's
to
reading
another
that.
group of Americans. It was very terrible, and he did it. Biden believes that all black Americans have to think the same way. That's what it was all about. Today's Democrat Party is run by, he doesn't know black Americans like I do. That I can tell you.
I'm sure.
Today's Democrat Party is run by out-of-touch,
Democratic.
liberal hypocrites who stereotype you, disrespect you, and sell you out. They're only good for your 6-month period, 6 months before the election. And then they're very nice, and they want your vote, and then they, as you say, I like that better than what I'm saying, they forget all about you. They're gone.
Trump has never used the word derisive or derisively without a teleprompter.
About racial justice when he spent his career hurting black Americans, hurting Hispanic Americans.
That's true, by the way. I just looked it up. there's a fact base for stuff like that. We never used it.
Democrat.
And he was just reading it off the teleprompter right now. It's the EEOC
So today
busting
I'm
him.
urging black
Yeah.
Americans to walk away from the corrupt, hateful, divisive, and very extreme, and they are going crazy, Democrat Party. On no issue has the Democrat Party more totally failed the black community than public safety. Democrats have run America's inner cities at every level of government for 100 years and even more. Last year, 19 of the top
They've run the inner cities at every level of government.
Afghanistan, El Salvador, or Honduras, right? It's higher. Instead of fighting for public safety for these communities, the Democrats are attacking our police and empowering far-left rioters, looters, and anarchists. You know, they are anarchists. The Democrat Party's war on cops has caused black-owned businesses to be burned and black homes and churches to be totally destroyed. Most tragically of all, so many innocent black lives have been cruelly taken from us. People are dying by
So
the
they matter,
thousands
then,
in black-on-black
lives.
crime. And I
Oh, it's
want it to
black-on-black
stop.
crime.
And
That's
people
what it
aren't
is.
talking about it. They're not talking about it.
That's what it is. It's the black-on-black crime.
They're not talking about it.
And
In
the police
Chicago,
officers
as
who
an
kill the black
example,
people, what about them?
there are weekends when 60, 70, or more people are shot. This is
Yeah.
shot,
Yeah,
and many die.
right.
How
Which
can
you said
we
you
allow
would
this
fix.
to
Remember
go
the
on?
whole
How
American
can we allow
carnage
this
thing?
to happen?
Stops right here, stops
But
right
they're
now.
all
You said you would
Democrat-run
fix it.
cities. Every year, thousands
Promises
of
made.
African Americans are murdered as a result of violent crime, and again, in
Results.
these Democrat-run monstrosities, the way they run them, it's worse. It's worse than Afghanistan. It's worse than we're at war. We go to war zones, and we don't lose this many people in war zones. Democrats ignore these
Ain't we
American
lucky we got
victims,
'em?
and I won't. And, you know, we have to be asked to come in. We have to be asked to come in. By law, they have to say, please come in. And wherever we've
But
gone
you-
in.
you were just gonna go in
Minneapolis,
Seattle.
we went in, we solved the
So
problem.
you were
They
going to
should've
break
called
the
us 2
law,
weeks
Mr. Law
earlier.
and Order.
They would have had a city left, okay? But Seattle, they knew we were coming in. I said, we're going in.
Breaking the law.
We don't care. We're going in. The
We don't
night
care about the
before
law.
we went in, they left.
We don't care.
That was the end of that.
Yeah. That, by
And
the way,
others.
is a lie. There
I mean,
was
look
no
at,
plan for
look
them
at
to
Portland.
go in.
I mean, how bad is Portland? How bad
So
is
go in.
Portland?
Go into
And
Portland. Break the
we
law.
could
Do it.
solve that one in about a half an hour.
Do it. Do it.
A bunch of young anarchists. They live with their parents.
Get in there.
In a basement also. They live in a basement.
Oh, and it's always in the basement.
And I'll
yeah.
always support the heroes of law enforcement. We have to, including over 50,000 incredible black police officers who risk their lives every day to keep us all safe. You know, they protect people that they've never met before, and it's very dangerous. They're amazing. Those pushing to defund the police are hurting black communities the most. And as I've always said, when there is police misconduct, the justice system must hold wrongdoers fully responsible and accountable.
Wrongdoers.
And they will do that. Politicians supporting mob violence are not allies of the black community. They're causing extraordinary damage, grief, hardship. In recent months, our nation has grieved for the tragic deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery. Our hearts break for their families and for all families who have lost a loved one, especially if you look at this way, so senseless. But we can never allow mob rule. To have safety, to have prosperity, to have everything that you want to have, we must always ensure the rule of law. As you know, we have to.
Okay. what are
Many
you
of
saying?
those who are spreading violence in our cities are supporters of an organization called Black Lives Matter, or BLM.
It's the black community booing
It's really
BLM.
hurting the black community. It's hurting the black community. This is an unusual name for an organization whose ideology and tactics are right now destroying many black lives, and whose first phrase was, you remember this, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, referring to our police. That's referring to our police.
That was their
The
first
stated
phrase.
goal of BLM organization
It was
people
not.
is to achieve
was
the
a chant in New
destruction
York
of
one time.
the nuclear family, abolish the police, abolish prisons, abolish border
And Hannity has it on a loop. He just presses the button over and over and over.
security, abolish capitalism, and abolish school choice. That's what their stated goals are. This is not the agenda of the black community. This is the agenda of an extreme socialist, or worse. You know what the other word is? Yeah, Marxist, communist, communist. But this is the extreme
Communist.
socialist left. But beyond that, in my opinion. That's why the founders of the organization call themselves trained Marxists. And yet we have major corporations, out of weakness or fear or whatever reason, donating hundreds of millions of dollars to them. These are fools. These are fools.
Actions speak louder than...
The big progressive corporations donating to BLM should instead be spending their money helping black families rebuild from the left wing, from these horrible left-wing riots. Wealthy liberal hypocrites want to defund the police in our inner cities while living behind walled compounds. They're walled compounds. It's you got to see the way some of these people live. They live pretty well. You know, the funny thing is that if anything ever happened, they'd be the first to go. You know that, right? Let's go get these people. They're fools. They want to get rid of school choice for black children while sending their own children to the best private schools in the land. They want to open borders, and that's what they want. They want open borders for you, but security for themselves. They want top security, but let's open up the borders. Let's let everybody pour into our country so that you won't have jobs left. You won't have anything left. You won't have, and it's a tremendous public health crisis. You know, we built now
Immigration
over
builds the economy.
330 miles of wall, and it will be finished soon. And our numbers on the border are now the best they've been in decades, and it's incredible.
Before the virus hit, we had 7 million open jobs in this country that nobody was filling. 7 million. We need immigration. That's what immigration does. It brings them in. It also creates demand because they're doing the jobs and now they need to consume.
And I said it last night. We had a tremendous rally last night. We had probably 35,000 people. I said it last night. I said, I made a mistake. I should have said, we will not build a wall.
He's been saying that for months.
And we would have had funding in about 15 minutes. Instead, I had to win 6 different lawsuits. This was not
It looks
easy.
like there might be about
Crazy
60
Nancy.
people
She's
there.
she's crazy.
I rewound the tape.
And you know, do you notice how quiet it is now? Now it's
Rewound.
330 miles. It'll be built very soon. It'll be completed. We're doing 10 miles a day on average. Think of this. I don't hear any more about the wall. They don't want to talk about the wall anymore.
A few days ago, they were supposed to have a president comes and puts a banner and a plaque and stuff on the wall, and the wall was not built where it was supposed to be built yet, so they had to cancel it.
Okay. And we will defend our God-given freedoms, including religious liberty. And the Second Amendment, by the way. And, Second Amendment. Have to save our Second Amendment. I'm the only thing standing between you and me and Second Amendment. I'm standing right now.
What?
We're not going to be losing
Where
our
are you?
Second Amendment.
Between you and me.
They're going to get rid of it. You know who
And
they
the
put in
Second
charge? Beto. Remember Beto? Beto.
I'm the
Beto
only one
O'Rourke.
standing between the
That's a
Democrats
Spanish
and
name.
your
He
Second
wanted-
Amendment.
He needed the Spanish.
Really simple to
right?
say.
He said, I want
He
Spanish.
says this wrong every
I
time.
said, what about
I'm the only
Hispanic?
one
He
standing
said, I don't know
between
about that. He knows
yourself
less about it than
and the Second
perhaps
Amendment.
I
Wait,
do.
the Second Amendment's
But,
over, and
Beto,
then there's the
remember he
wall.
had a
But you can
cover
see
on a
through the
terrible
wall,
magazine.
and it's beautiful.
And he said
and
that I
the
was
climbers
born
can't
to
get
run
over,
for
and the
president.
monkeys, they have monkeys.
He was hot then.
And once you get up
Even
there,
though
what are
he
you
just
going to
lost
do?
a race.
There's
He
no
said-
way to get
He
down,
was hot.
possibly a rope, but you can't
You
get
know,
down.
And he said, I was born to run for president. Anybody that says that is a sure loser. Can you imagine if I
I don't
said
even see
that?
someone named Marcus.
I said, I was born to run for president. You said, this guy's whacked out. This guy. It's not an easy deal going on over here, I'll tell you. I had a very nice life before. You know that? You sort of read about my life. You knew a lot about my life. I had a great life.
I've been listening
what the
about
hell
your
did I
life,
do
and it
this
was
for,
pretty
David?
shitty.
What did I do this for, David Perdue?
I would not. I would. If Trump is worth $1 billion, I would not trade that for the childhood that I had.
No,
Not
I
in
enjoy
a
it. You know why I
billion years.
enjoy
That's
it? I
billion
love
with
it.
a T.
Oh, by the way, did you see they just caught the FBI? Did you see the text
Oh, I see Marcus.
messages?
Marcus, yeah, this
Oh,
is
it's
we chat.
brutal.
That's
One
what we
of
do
the
here.
guys said, "Listen,
Go to
this is really illegal. I want
cspan.org.
insurance."
Wait, is it .org?
They bought insurance for these people
There you go. Yeah,
because they thought they were going to be locked up.
c-span.org. And you can watch it without me
We got
talking
it.
or any of the chat or anything
Now
like
they're
that.
going crazy. This is the hottest thing right now on the internet, all over the place. Boy, oh boy. They've been looking at me. So essentially, then, it was the exact opposite. Okay, and you see Biden's son? He got 3.5. Hunter. Where's Hunter? Remember where's?
I don't think Marcus can read, so I just told him out
You know
loud.
what I do? I call him Where's Hunter? That's his name. Where's Hunter? We made
That's
a
not his
T-shirt. I
name,
was
by the
making
way.
a speech. I said, "Where's
check.
Hunter? Where is he?" I'm looking at this. I was kidding. I said, "Where's Hunter?" The next day it was the biggest selling T-shirt in the history of.
Of
Where's
what?
Hunter? No, Hunter got a check from the wife of the mayor of Moscow for $3.5 million. Would anybody accept whatever he was supposed to do for $3.5 million? There's no job that I can think of. $3.5 million. Now, before Biden became vice president, right? He got nothing. He had no money, no nothing. Got thrown out of the military. He got thrown out. He had no job. Now he's getting checks for $3.5 million from the mayor, the ex-mayor, very substantial person, by the way, of Moscow. So we got it wrong. It wasn't Trump. I have nothing to do. I didn't have a phone call. Now think of it. Let's call Bob Mueller. Put him on the case. Thank you. Thank you. He said, let's call Bob Mueller. I stole from him. Hey, I plagiarized from him like Biden. That was very good. He says, let's call Bob Mueller. Bob's a sharp guy. He'll get him. He'll figure it out. How about me? 3 years of investigation, 48 million. They find nothing. A friend of mine, very smart in New York, said, very smart, he said, you must be the most honest person in the world. When 19 geniuses, bad people, but geniuses, plus unlimited law enforcement,
But they're
49
geniuses.
FBI agents, 2.5 years, can't find anything, you gotta be the cleanest person in the world. It's true.
Because your campaign deleted messages and emails, encrypted data, and pled the fifth. That's right there, page 10 of the Mueller report. Look it up yourself.
Who was dealing with Russia? David, if you guys could start working on that when you get back. Doug, please, if you don't mind. You were so incredible to me, and if you don't mind, think of it. It was the exact opposite, Doug. He's trying to defend us. Please defend the president. Well, it turned out to be the opposite. They were the ones that were dealing with Russia. It was a disinformation campaign. Kelly, start working on that with David, please, okay?
No, the Mueller report found that there were more than 100 contacts, and the Senate report, which was, by the way, run by Republicans, found that there absolutely was collusion
I think Monday morning would be okay.
between the
we
president,
are
his
appointing a Supreme
campaign,
Court
and
justice
Russian
for that.
agents. Uh-oh, are we losing internet? Ah! I'm calling Spectrum today. Come on. Oh no, we still got it. Come on. Come on, C-SPAN. I don't know why it's doing this. Sorry, guys. It'll come back. In the meantime, take a look at this. This is from the Senate Intel report. Let me zoom in for you. It is our conclusion, based on, let me go back one, based on the facts detailed in the committee's report that the Russian intelligence
then we
services
got
assault on the
interrupted by
integrity of the
China.
2016
What they did,
U.S.
they should
electoral
never have
process.
done that. They should
Hold on.
remember.
Let's make him quiet for a second. Let me go back. It is our conclusion, based on the facts detailed in the committee's report, that the Russian intelligence service assault on the integrity of the 2000 U.S. electoral process and participation in and enabling of this Russian activity represents one of the single most grave intelligence counterintelligence threats to American national security in the modern era. Russia's intelligence services' assault on the integrity of the 2016 U.S. electoral process, and Trump and his associates' participation in and enabling of this Russian activity. That is from the GOP report. That's the Senate Intel Committee. That's the conclusion. That Trump enabled Russian activity in 2016. And his associates. That's collusion. There it is right there. Is it conspiracy? No, they couldn't. Collusion, not illegal. Conspiracy, illegal. Conspiracy couldn't be proven because of all the emails they deleted. Because you know there's a meeting, you don't know what was discussed, you don't know what intel was handed back and forth, because all of that was encrypted and deleted on a, I don't know, basement server, in a bathroom. Hillary, anyone? I have tweeted that. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. We're all on one side or the other side, and nobody cares. And independents, 36% of them have said we're not going to vote. Really, Trump? You're doing this to me now? Come on. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to move. The proprietors of this abode are the nicest, wonderful, most generous peoples in the world. But the internet. Come on. Waiting, guys. It looks like I've got good throughput, so at least we got that going. But C-SPAN is not doing its thing. It could be on C-SPAN's end, too. Let me check. See if anything can happen here. Let me go to the phone Wi-Fi's as well as a backup. Come on. Give me something. Sorry, guys. Still waiting on Trump here. Let me press it again.
Planned
there we go.
Parenthood, an organization founded on racism that continues to target the black community.
Planned Parenthood is founded on racism?
We believe in protecting all black lives, including the unborn.
Oh,
we believe that every child,
there is a conspiracy theory that Planned Parenthood,
every race,
people have said Planned Parenthood just wants to get rid of black babies. That's where he's saying it's founded on racism.
Republicans believe that all human life is sacred. At no time before has there been a clearer choice between two parties, two visions, two philosophies, two agendas for the future. Now, you know that. There's never been a difference like this.
No, there never has.
We want our children to grow up.
Never election. May the best man. And the other candidate is like, I can't promise anything peaceful. Hashtag Army for Trump.
Message to your children is that their path is doomed and that their country is evil. My message to every child in America is the exact opposite. I want our children to know that they are part of the most exciting and incredible event in history. No matter where your family comes from, no matter your background.
Come on. Why you gotta be like this? I'm gonna fiber cable, and I'm gonna just run it directly to the internet, wherever the internet. Does anybody know where the internet is? Is Al Gore nearby? Can he? What was that?
You see it here.
There we go.
This glorious country, the shared heritage of all Americans in every generation. Black patriots.
I might just hang up. I should just call Spectrum right now. We got to get this solved. We got to get USMCA. Ba 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 ba. Okay, give me a second. I'm just posting that piece of the conclusion to the GOP Senate Intel report. Funny that it's unredacted. They should have redacted it. I mean, they should have wanted to redact it. I'm sure they wanted to redact it. But for whatever reason, it was left unredacted. And it's in a section called Committee Sensitive. So it's not supposed to be released to the general public, but they made a mistake. And the weird thing is, nobody talked about it. Nobody mentioned it, but it's there. It's in the report. It's just not under conclusion. So many people don't actually read what comes out. There we go. Okay. Sorry about all the internet stuff. You know what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to get things going right away. I got some stuff to do with the charity, but I'm going to get on the Hooter to the internet people right now and see if there's anything we can do, because this is ridiculous. And it makes my life, it makes your life inconvenient for this to happen, and it makes my life sadder. And that's really what we should all be focusing on. Guys, we'll see you soon. If you want to support this broadcast and others like it, go to kevinleefather.com or just send me money here. By the way, hold on. I have an announcement to make. So, I've got money. Greg Alexander, but somebody else. Hold on. That's not... Greg Alexander sent me money. Thank you, Greg. And then I also got from Chris Perazzo, also from Venmo, through Venmo. Chris Perazzo sent me some money. So thank you, Chris, for keeping this going. We appreciate that. We have so many Chris's. And Chris Perazzo right now is my favorite, because Chris sent some money in. And I like the money. That's what this is all about. So if Trump wins 4 more years... Go Kevin, go Kevin. It's your 4-year birthday, and we're all gonna die. And well, see, that's the issue, guys. We're checking out. We'll see you later.
Kevin, thanks for that.